Only 2 out of 10 Dubai property buyers choose villas over apartments. But is it a smart investment? Villa prices at historic highs. The number of houses is growing every year, and rental yields often aren't high enough to pay back the price even over 20 years. Still, we strongly believe villas are a safer bet, more stable during recessions and likely to keep outperforming the market. In this video, I'll explain exactly why, show you the data, and give you a checklist to help you find the best performing house right now. Starting with historical growth. The graph on your screen compares the value growth of apartments with villas and townhouses. From 2022 to 2025, apartment values in Dubai grew by 30%, but villas and townhouses jumped by 64%. So on average, they are growing 2 times faster than apartments. However, numbers like this don't show the full picture. We're only looking at a 3-year period. And that window includes the post-COVID recovery, when prices bounced back to what they were pre-pandemic. It also includes some new expensive launches which raised the average too. We cannot take these numbers as the only evidence. So to get a clearer picture, let's zoom out. When we look at the data from 2015 to 2025, we avoid the COVID distortion, and we'll also focus on only 8 established villa communities that existed before the pandemic. These areas had enough time to go through all the ups and downs of real estate market cycles. Even with COVID included, villa prices in those mature communities appreciated by 118% on average, but it's often believed that villas don't deliver strong rental yields. So let's see what the numbers tell us. At first glance, it seems like claims of villas having low rental yields are true, but in a minute I'll show you something surprising. Yes, villas in Dubai typically have lower rent-to-price ratios than apartments. Their ratio is at around 5% compared to 6 to 7% for smaller units. But let me share 2 important points. First, not all villas perform equally. Some villa communities can bring you a high rental returns right away, even if you buy in a mature area. For example, Jumeirah Gulf Estates. It's one of the strongest villas and townhouse markets today. With the current prices, the rent-to-price ratio for a 3-bedroom unit is already at around 8%. That's really strong for a house. Second, because villas are appreciating quickly, calculating the yield based on current prices might be misleading. If you consider the original price instead of the higher resale price, the returns are actually much stronger than they seem, making a case for buying off plan. I'll show you what I mean. In Arabian Ranches 3, the rent-to-price ratio is around 5%. On paper, that looks pretty average, but many owners bought it off planned phases at much lower prices. So if we compare current trends to those original prices, the rental performance looks completely different. 3 and 4-bedroom villas are now getting returns of 11% on the initial price. 5-bedroom villas are at 8.7%, so investors who bought earlier are seeing impressive returns. And when you are considering villa rental performance, it's not just about the yield, it's also about resilience. During the COVID crash, average apartment rents dropped by 27%. But for villas and townhouses, the decline was only 13%. So villas and townhouses don't just grow faster, they're also more stable in crisis. Of course, just because something has done well in the past doesn't mean it always will. So let's look at supply and demand balance. Before we try to predict the future, we need to take a step back. Why did villa prices start growing that fast in the first place? There are 2 obvious reasons: strong demand and limited supply. I'll go through both of them. First is the demand. Even though the prices of villas and townhouses are rising, buyers' interest hasn't fallen. It's actually stayed very stable. Property Finder data shows that in September 2022, 39.8% of searches were for villas. In September 2023, that figure grew to 43%, and by May 2024, it was still at 41%. And there is another layer to this. Dubai has become the top destination for millionaires. In 2024 alone, 6.7 thousand millionaires moved to the UAE, more than any other country. Today, Dubai is home to over 81,000 millionaires, including 237 centi-millionaires and 20 billionaires. And there are more coming. Current migration data suggests that 9.8 thousand more millionaires will arrive this year. These buyers aren't after small apartments, they're often looking for spacious villas and townhouses. So even if overall demand stays flat, the premium segment is only getting stronger. And this is increasing the pressure on the supply, because the idea that Dubai will experience the oversupply of villas is just false. Take a look at this chart. As you can see, back in 2021 and 2022, villas and townhouses made up nearly 30% of all of planned property sales. But from 2023 through 2025, that share dropped to just 22%. This share of villas in Dubai is not increasing. So with a decreasing share of unit supply and an increasing demand, we're confident that villa and townhouses prices will continue growing. Of course, developers see this trend too. And unfortunately, some of them are trying to make money off the hype, and they're selling houses that just won't be good enough to outperform the market. A little bit later, I'll give you guidance on how to decide if you should invest in specific villa or not. But if you don't want to go through this alone, and you need someone by your side who will help you avoid costly mistakes, get in touch with us! If you're new to this channel, we're a real estate advisory and brokerage firm that helps affluent and high-net-worth individuals invest in Dubai. First, we create a personalized shortlist of options based on your budget and risk appetite. Second, we use data and financial modeling to help you prioritize. Third, we help you secure the best possible unit and negotiate the terms. And finally, we rent it out or sell it for you. So if you want to work with us, scan the QR code, click the link below, or send us a WhatsApp message to schedule your free consultation. By the way, the share of villas in the off-plan transactions I just showed you isn't the most important metric if you want to understand market dynamics. What I'm about to tell you now explains why villas are generally a much better investment than apartments. Let's take a look at real market activity after handover. This is Dubai Hills, and here we have Sidra, a sub-community with standalone villas. In Sidra 2 there are 422 homes in total. All of them were sold at the off-plan stage. What's interesting is what happened in the first year after handover. Sidra 2 had 49 resale transactions and 99 rental contracts in the first year after handover, a total of 148 transactions. That's around 35% of the stock entering the market. Now look at this apartment building nearby, Mulberry. It has 606 units. In the first year, there were 94 resales and 300 rentals, which makes a total 394 transactions, or about 65% of all units. This tells us two things. First, apartments typically see a much higher turnover than villas. This is because the market is dominated by investors who are looking to buy and resell or rent out very quickly. In contrast, villas are usually bought by end users. In 2/3 of cases, the buyers for these properties plan on living there. And the second thing this data tells us is very important for investors. More activity means more competition. 65% of apartments being back on the market within a year means that sellers are competing against a huge number of similar units being listed at once. Compare that to the villas, where most of the units just don't hit the market. This means you have a more unique property when you decide to resell or rent it out. You have leverage, so you can charge a higher premium. So now you can see why villas are a strong investment. Next, I'll break down how to choose a villa community that will set you up for a long-term success. Not all villa communities are made equal. To choose the best one, there are 4 factors you should look for. I'll take you through each of them. The first is supply. Oversupply is one of the biggest risks in a villa community. Currently, there is a real area in Dubai where over 20,000 villas and townhouses are being developed in one community. When a community has thousands of villas and townhouses, two things happen. First, the area becomes dense and congested. There are just too many people, meaning more noise and crowded spaces. Second, your property blends with the rest. If it's not unique, there is much more competition when it comes to selling or renting it out. Instead, look for communities with a limited number of units, or at least communities in large areas with a lot of shared space. Second is the quality of amenities. Strong communities are anchored by good infrastructure, not just inside the community, but also in the surrounding area. Families, who are the main tenants and buyers, prioritize easy access to schools, hospitals, supermarkets, parks, and walkable areas. These are essentials, and they can be the deciding factor on whether you will find a buyer for your property. Without them, the community becomes much less attractive for long-term living. Third is beachfront locations. Waterfront homes have a unique edge, especially long-term. They're rare, exclusive, and timeless. Knight Frank reports that more than 80% of global high-net-worth buyers considering Dubai have beach access and sea views among the key criteria for selecting a home. But supply of such properties is extremely tight. Out of 800,000 ready units in Dubai, only 35,000, or just 4%, are on the coast, and less than 3,000 of them are villas and townhouses. And this shortage has translated into crazy price growth. Palm Jumeirah villas have grown by 182% since 2020, and Jumeirah Bay Island villas are up 171%. Fourth, you should be looking for first phase communities. Buying into the early phases of a master plan community gives you a huge advantage. This is because developers launch the early clusters at cheaper prices. As the project progresses and demand grows, they can release each new stage at increasingly higher prices. By the time the community is ready, Resale prices tend to level across all the clusters, but early buyers benefit from the biggest return. MR Oasis is still a great example today, as only 4 communities have launched so far, and they still cover less than half of the full development, so this gives buyers the chance to benefit from the future price increase. If you can find a community that meets this criteria, you're part of the way to making the best investment possible. But once you've chosen the community, you have to make the most important decision – choosing the right villa. This is the most important step, and it's where many investors fail. But again, there are features you can look out for. First, choose a large plot size. It's easy to focus on the interiors like layout and finishings, but what else truly defines a premium villa today is what's outside – the land. Built-up areas can be renovated, but the plot can't be changed. And in today's market, land matters more than ever. Developers are shrinking plot sizes to increase the density of their units. This trend mirrors older markets, where more units are prioritized over space. But this also means that large plots are becoming increasingly rare, and as you already know, in real estate, scarcity drives value. That's why many global buyers are struggling to find what they want. Ultra-wealthy families are arriving to buy with big budgets, but many of them are surprised by the lack of homes offering privacy, space for private gardens, or room for a pool. There is a mismatch between their expectations and the typical product being offered. This is exactly why communities with large plots consistently outperform. Al-Barari villas, which are known for having lots of green space and massive plots, are up by 260% since 2020. Emirates Hills is up 196%, and District 1 villas have increased by 158%. The market shows us clearly that villas with land hold their value. I'll show you what a large plot means. On your screen is the floor plan for a villa in Acres by Miraz. It's on a big plot, where the home is surrounded by lots of space. Now compare that to a villa in a project like Cedar in Dubai Hills. The building footprint consumes almost the entire plot. There is barely any outdoor space, and that affects lifestyle, privacy, and long-term resale potential. Second, look for villas near amenities. Homes that are walking distance from pools, parks, or gyms are ideal, but being right next to them means more noise and people. The best villas are in a short walk away, in a calm spot. Third, look for corner units. Corner plots have better views, more natural light, and extra outdoor space. Plus, they're limited, so while the price is higher, they're more desirable. Fourth, ideally, make sure they're Vastu or Feng Shui compliant. Villas that follow Vastu and Feng Shui principles often attract more interest from Indian and Chinese buyers. These groups are a major part of Dubai's real estate market. Indians make up 20% of all buyers in Dubai, so this feature can make your property much more attractive. Fifth, don't go for units near utility structures and mosques. Units near electrical transformers or technical buildings tend to face noise issues and might be considered not that safe. And with mosques, prayer calls begin early in the morning, so it's not for everyone. Finally, pay attention to the layout of your villa. Check out this floor plan and see if you can spot the problem. Look closely at the kitchen. There is a sink, a cooker, a dishwasher, and a single-door fridge. That might work for a studio, but this is a 4-bedroom villa. There is no kitchen island and no space to cook. That's not ideal for a family. A good floor plan is a logical floor plan. Living and private areas should be clearly separated, with good natural light, and the space should be used efficiently. Sometimes it's really hard to fix a bad layout, and it will cost you at resale. If you look for a villa in the right community that ticks all these boxes, you're on track for a strong, successful investment. And if you invest now, the data shows you'll be in the market for some impressive returns. If you're serious about buying a villa or townhouse in Dubai, don't waste time scrolling listings. Send us a message. We'll run the numbers, show you the best units available, and help you secure them before prices rise further. But if you're still exploring and want to learn more about real estate in Dubai, check out this video.